It would be hard to imagine in our days that the Jews were once the most numerous minority of Bucharest, almost 11% of the city's population before 1939. The Jewish quarter was one of the most affected areas after the massive destructions in the 1980s. It is now difficult to recognize the remains of what once used to be the Jewish architectural treasure of Romania's capital city. Despite all the odds, the Great Synagogue, situated in the heart of Bucharest next to the old town, was well conserved and reconstructed after many tumultuous years in the history of the Romanian Jews.
Located on Street Vasilea Damache number 11, the Great Synagogue of Bucharest was built between 1845 and 1846, and it was inaugurated in 1847 on the Rosh Hashanah, or the Jewish New Year. It was repaired in 1865 and redesigned in 1903 by Stummer, who gave it the shape it has today. In 1909, 6 years later, Petre Antonescu, a famous Romanian architect, brought his own influence to the arch inside the synagogue. In 1936, it was repainted in a Rococo style by Gershon Horowitz, and it was restored in 1945 after the devastation of the earthquake of 1940 and the damage done by the right-wing legionaries in January 1941.
During the Second World War and the right-wing leadership of Romania, the synagogue was subject to anti-Semitic actions such as the Bucharest pogrom, which was an event representing the legionaries' rebellion against Jews between the 21st and 23rd of January 1941, resulting in the death of 125 Jews, depending of the Iron Guard extreme right-wing movement, and the imprisonment of 9,000 of its members. The Great Synagogue is known to be among the most beautiful in Romania, being named Great not only for its beauty, but also because for a long time the synagogue was the biggest Jewish religious building in Bucharest. It was also known as the Polish Synagogue, being built by the Ashkenazim Polish Jewish community. From an architectural point of view, the building is a mix between Baroque and Rococo styles, with a spectacular interior design that depicts the history through decorations such as stained glass and gold-plated chandeliers, which are dating back to 1845. The impressive chandeliers are the only architectural elements that have remained untouched by time, surviving the fire from the pogrom, the many reparations or redesigns being preserved today as the only objects from the original building.
In the late 1980s, during the communist regime, along with many other churches in the area, the synagogue was virtually surrounded by concrete buildings so as to hide it from public sight. After the fall of the communist regime, since 1992, the synagogue hosts the Holocaust Museum, presenting different panels depicting official documents, letters, and photos from that dark period. Many Jews around the world come and visit the synagogue in order to find valuable information that helps them trace their past and predecessors, trying to understand their history of their nation. Also, the synagogue is still functioning in its original purpose, offering religious services whenever needed or required. It is one of the few still active Jewish religious buildings in Bucharest, along with the Choral Temple.
In more than 160 years of existence, the synagogue witnessed both Jewish celebration and sad moments for the unfortunate families of the Holocaust and pogrom victims, being a second home for the ones seeking peace and love among their people or just wishing to connect with the community. The building is and will remain an important point in the development and diversification of the Romanian architecture, preserving the history of Jews in Bucharest, bringing back to life the memory of a community that shaped the city into the capital it is today.